What if I told you the biggest financial heist in history is happening right now, hidden in plain sight? Not a bank robbery, not a crypto hack, but a $600 trillion time bomb ticking beneath the global economy. In 2025, billionaires are quietly betting against the system, shorting the crash, while everyday savers, people like you, are set to lose everything. Your 401k, your pension, your home, on the line. The headlines won't warn you. The experts won't save you. But tonight, we're exposing the secret playbook the rich use to turn chaos into cash. Are you ready to see what they don't want you to know?
Let's start with a number so big it barely seems real. $600 trillion. That's the estimated size of the global derivatives market, an invisible web of bets, insurance contracts, and financial side deals that dwarf the world's entire GDP. Most people have no idea what derivatives are, let alone how they can trigger a financial earthquake. But in 2025, these contracts are at the heart of a new crisis, one that's already sending shockwaves through Wall Street and the City of London. Here's the twist. Derivatives were supposed to make the system safer. Banks and hedge funds use them to hedge risk. But when everyone's betting on the same outcome, the risk doesn't disappear, it just moves. And right now, the world's biggest players are quietly shifting their bets. Warren Buffett, the so-called Oracle of Omaha, is sitting on a record $381.7 billion in cash, refusing to buy while the S&P 500's P/E ratio sits at 30, a level only seen before the dot-com crash. In the UK, mortgage arrears have surged to 84,100 cases, the highest since the last crisis. The Bank of England just issued a rare warning about $4.5 trillion in shadow banking risk, off-the-books loans that could collapse overnight. Why does this matter to you? Because when the dominoes start to fall, it's not the billionaires who get crushed. It's the savers, the pensioners, the families with everything tied up in safe investments. In the U.S., household debt just hit $18.59 trillion, and 401k balances are already down 12% year-to-date. In the UK, pension funds are bleeding as bond yields spike and property values fall. 1 in 5 British retirees could see payouts slashed if the slide continues. But here's the real kicker. The rich aren't just watching, they're making their move. Hedge funds are shorting the market, betting billions that stocks will crash. Private equity giants like Blackstone are snapping up distressed real estate, preparing to buy homes and businesses for pennies on the dollar. Family offices are quietly shifting to gold, farmland, and even Bitcoin. They're not waiting for the headlines. They're reading the pattern. So what's the pattern? Every 18 years, history repeats. 1929, 1947, 1966, 1987, 2008, and now 2025. Each time, debt explodes, euphoria blinds the masses, and the experts swear this time is different. It never is. The cycle is playing out again right now. The only question, will you see it before it's too late?
Let's pull back the curtain on how the $600 trillion derivatives heist actually works. Imagine a casino where the house always wins, but the rules are written in invisible ink. That's the world of derivatives. Banks, hedge funds, and even pension funds use these contracts to bet on everything from interest rates to the price of wheat. But when the bets go bad, the losses don't just stay in the casino, they spill out into the real world. In 2008, it was mortgage-backed securities and credit default swaps that blew up the system. Today, the risks are even bigger and more complex. According to the Bank for International Settlements, the notional value of outstanding derivatives is now nearly $600 trillion, 10 times the size of the U.S. economy. And here's the scary part. Most of these contracts are over-the-counter, meaning they're traded in secret with almost no oversight. This isn't just a Wall Street problem. In the U.S., 401k plans and pension funds are loaded with assets that could be wiped out if the wrong counterparty fails. In the UK, pension funds are exposed to liability-driven investments, a fancy term for using derivatives to juice returns. When interest rates spike, as they did in 2022 and again in 2025, these funds face margin calls they can't meet. That's why the Bank of England had to step in last year to prevent a total meltdown. But while regulators scramble to plug the leaks, the billionaires are already out the back door. It's said that some of the world's richest investors are quietly shorting the market, betting on a crash they helped set in motion. In the U.S., short interest in major indices has surged to levels not seen since 2008. In London, rumors swirl that hedge funds are targeting UK property and corporate debt, preparing to scoop up assets at fire sale prices. And it's not just the ultra-wealthy. Some savvy Main Street investors are catching on. They're moving into inflation-protected bonds, global real estate, and even rare collectibles. Others are building side hustles and second incomes to survive layoffs. The message is clear. You don't need billions to protect yourself, but you do need to act before the crowd. So what happens next? The 18-month crash pattern is already in motion. Credit card delinquencies in the U.S. are rising faster than in 2008. UK mortgage arrears are at crisis levels. The S&P 500 is teetering at historic highs while Buffett's cash pile grows. The pressure is building. The system looks stable until it isn't. Here's where the story gets personal. Most people won't realize what's happening until it's too late. The headlines will say, unexpected downturn. The experts will urge you to stay calm. But the numbers don't lie. In the U.S., student loans and credit card debt just hit new records. In the UK, families are delaying retirement and cutting essentials. Pensioners are bracing for smaller checks. The pain is already here. It just hasn't hit the front page yet. But there's hope. The elite have a playbook, and you can steal it. Most people freeze in a crash. The smart money moves fast. They diversify before the herd panics. They buy when fear is at its peak. In 2025, some are shifting into inflation-protected bonds, global real estate, even rare collectibles. Others are building side hustles and second incomes to survive layoffs. You don't need billions to protect yourself. Simple moves, cutting debt, rebalancing your portfolio, building a 6-month emergency fund can save you. The next 18 months will separate the victims from the victors. In the last crash, most people lost everything they worked for. A tiny few came out richer than they ever dreamed. The question is, which side will you be on?
So, what does all this mean for you? The $600 trillion derivatives heist isn't just a headline. It's a warning. The rich are ready. The question is, are you? History shows chaos creates opportunity, but only for those who see the signs and act before the crowd. 1929 never left. It was just waiting for 2025. You don't have to be left behind. Start asking the hard questions. Check your risks. Refuse to be caught off guard. What's your plan if the market drops tomorrow? How will you protect your family, your future? Comment your biggest fear for 2025 below. Let's start a real conversation. Because the next chapter of this story is being written right now. And you still have the power to decide how it ends. Will you be a victim of the next crash, or one of the few who saw it coming and turned chaos into cash? The choice is yours. See you in the next one.